the destruction of the monuments are about race. Okay, let me say one more thing, Steve. This is a very important point that you missed. Okay, I'm going to give you you want to rip off the monuments on Monument Avenue of Lee and whoever else. How did the Christopher Columbus one got into that? Now, okay, Christopher Columbus, supposedly the island I'm from, they said if he came back today, that'd be the only island he could recognize. But what does Christopher Columbus have to do with the Civil War? People are upset, and Steve, I can tell you this. What happens here, people get upset. When you back a dog into a corner, sooner or later it's going to come up barking.
Agreed.
And people do that. But I'm opposed to rioting. I'm opposed to destroying property. And I'm opposed to attacking police. Now, if a police... And let me tell you this. A lot of people are going to disagree with what I'm about to say right here. I've been stopped by the cops. I've been profiled. There's stuff in my record that's been dismissed for profiling back in the day. And it doesn't affect my job because as a financial professional, I cannot have a record. But the important thing is it's there and it shows that it's dismissed. So I understand profiling. I understand driving being black. It's happened to me many times. Because as an insurance person, I'm on the roads, the highways, and byways in the south and the north all the time. But what I don't understand is the Christopher Columbus one, why was that? Christopher Columbus is part of it, or let's just destroy all the property. So I'm listening, folks. All I'm trying to say to you is simply this. We needed dialogue, especially what happened with George Floyd. And not just dialogue, we need change. I posted something on Facebook, and it basically said that if you're quiet, you're not saying anything about social injustice, you're not saying anything about, the systems that's in place to oppress people of color, especially black folks like me. You're not saying anything about it. You are part of the problem. Now, I can say with Steve, I know his stance. I know what he's posted. I know what he says. And someone told him that he was racist. Now, I'm telling you right now, if he was racist, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to him.
Amen, bro.
I wouldn't be buying anything from his store.
Right.
I wouldn't be coming here playing music with him and having fun. He has his views. I have my views. Come on, there's black folks who have views that I don't agree with, even religiously or professionally or sports-wise. The important thing is this. There has to be a fair divide. I agree with protest. I agree with, having changes. But I disagree with rioting. I disagree with looting. And I disagree with destruction of property. That's basically my view.
Well, and the when you talk about rioting and we talk about protesting, let's clarify there is a difference. And that's where people also will start throwing the racist word out. And when I say these guys that are rioting, they're like, oh, they're protesters. Well, no, not all of them were protesting.
I agree.
Some of them were rioting. So that's where some of that came from. But people will sit back, and let me tell you, the people that are doing the looting. Let me make this very clear. I have seen as many young white, male and female, as I have blacks that are doing looting, rioting, and protesting downtown Richmond. Now, think about that for a minute. Now, night before last, I watched a live feed in front of the Richmond police station, and the majority of the people that were in the front that were being videoed, the majority were white, young. I watched them destroy 2 state vehicles. I watched them painting on vehicles and property in the city. And there were 2 city council people down there. One of them was Mike Jones. The other one was Stephanie Lynch. They claimed that Richmond fired tear gas on innocent protesters, and even they had to run because of the gas themselves. Well, to me, innocent protesters do not destroy state vehicles, and they do not paint on city property. So my stance as far as that goes, I think Terrence and I are on the same page there. But when the media lies and they says, oh, it's been on innocent protesters, well, you know what? In battle, and believe it or not, that's what this is. It's a battle, whether we want to admit to it or not. In battle, there is always collateral damage. So if you're out here and you're looting and someone shoots tear gas, guess what? The collateral damage is those that are protesting might get that gas in their face as well. Unfortunately, it happens, but how else do you gain control? So that's my stand on that as well. As far as the mayor goes, I think our mayor is weak. I don't think he has a backbone at all. He's not allowing the Richmond Police Department to do their jobs. It's almost like he is just allowing whatever people want to do, he's allowing it to happen. So that's my issue with him. I just feel like he's weak, and he has no backbone. So we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Terrence a little bit more. We're going to talk about few more things here. But before I do that, I want to play a little Danny Kinsey for you on the dashboard.
There's something about us taking a drive that brings out her wilder side. She loves to roll the sunroof back, turn the radio up full blast, slides off her shoes, props up her bare feet. She's about to go a little crazy. She's drumming real hard to the beat, got that hula girl rocking right in front of me. She's singing along to every country song. My baby's got it going on. It's my heart racing faster than this old Ford. Man, she's so damn cute when her toes dance on the dashboard. Doesn't matter where we go, flying down a highway or a shirt rock road. She loves to lean the seat on back, feel the 18 thumping off the gun rack. She's drumming real hard to the beat, got that hula girl rocking right in front of me. She's singing along to every country song. My baby's got it going on. It's my heart racing faster than this old Ford. Man, she's so damn cute when her toes dance on the dashboard. When I put the truck in park, shut the headlights off, we stare up at the stars. She's drumming real hard to the beat, got that hula girl rocking right in front of me. She's singing along to every country song. My baby's got it going on. It's my heart racing faster than this old Ford. Man, she's so damn cute. Man, she's so damn cute when her toes dance on the dashboard. When her toes dance on the dashboard. Love watching her prop her feet on up, drawing hearts in the dashboard dust.
Little Danny Kinsey for you on the dashboard. And again, if you ever get the opportunity to check out Danny, be sure to do so. Local talent, local singer-songwriter, just an amazing talent. So y'all be sure to check him out when you can. A point was brought up, and I think Terrence is going to touch on it. What was
one of my friends in Boston stated something. He said, let me try to read it to you. He basically said, so how do the black get, he's talking to the blacks, how do the blacks get compensation for the destruction of Black Wall Street? That was looting and destruction of property. And I want to address that. We all, for those of you who don't know, Tulsa, Oklahoma, back in the day, I think it was in the 20s, was very vibrant. They call it the Black Wall Street because African Americans had their own banks, own stores, own everything. And something happened there, and there was a disturbance, and it was burnt down by whites. Now, just like I will say, I'm going to make this point very clearly. I want you to listen very, very clearly to what I'm going to say. There are some people who think there should be reparations for slavery, okay? And maybe, maybe not. I don't know where I stand on that, to be honest, because I don't know, for someone like me who was who's from originally from a different country, but I'm now living here, do I get some? I don't know. But you look at a lot of the laws that has to do with gays and lesbians and their rights. How do you think they've addressed those? Through legislation. Now, I'm not here to bash any kinds of sexual orientation. That's not my point. The way you make changes, Ronnie, if there was looting and rioting in Tulsa, Oklahoma during Black Wall Street, but the way you make changes is through legislation. So those of you who can vote, you have to vote, and you have to put people in office who can make legislation to make things right. Because think about it, how are you going to give restitution for Black Wall Street? Back then, the country was a different place at the time. So are you saying that you're justifying looting? How is an iPad or a TV going to restore the Black Wall Street?
Well, and here's my take on that. There's been riots, many riots throughout the years. When is it paid back? How much damage has to be done before it's equal? And that's the way I see this. You're saying that because there were riots in the 1920s that destroyed the Black Wall Street. Well, how many more riots does it take to equal the same amount of money? My point is, it never should have happened on either side. However, it's like, we got to pay back. We got to destroy. Well, on today's time period, I would say there's been as much destruction on one side as there has been on the other at this point. And neither is correct. And that's my stand on that. I've many times I've sat down and I've thought about this, and I've thought about my views, and some of my views I have changed over the years. I used to be so far right that you couldn't even convince me of anything else, and I still am a very far right conservative. But there comes a time where we've got to say stop. There comes a time where we have to unite as people, because to me, and oh, by the way, I got called racist for this at one point. I don't see color. And somebody says, well, you have to see color. You have to see black and white. Or well, no, you don't. Because to me, there's one race. There's one race.
The human race.
And that's the human race.
That's right.
As far as black, white, what does that matter? I'm personally colorblind. So, to me, there's a human race. And the fact that there are good people and there are bad people. There are good white people, there are bad white people. There are good black people, there are bad black people. The bottom line is this. It's what you choose to be. And that goes for everybody. It's whether you choose to be a good person or a bad person. If anybody thinks that looting and going in and killing a 70-some-year-old retired black police officer who was trying to defend a pawn shop, if you call that justice, while they all beat and killed this man and then videoed him dying on live TV in Minneapolis, if you call that justice, shame on you. And I'm telling you, that's it. How's that equal anything? Everybody saw what happened to George Floyd. Everybody was in 100% agreement that officer should be prosecuted and the other ones that were there should be prosecuted. And then the riots start. Protesting, I was behind 100%. If you protest, I'll walk down there with you. I will hold hands and we'll walk together in a protest. But when it comes to rioting, that's where I draw the line. You had a platform. You had the perfect platform where everybody was listening, everybody was paying attention, and then when the riots start, all that did was create more division. And that's the last thing we need. I want you to understand something. If you think for 1 minute that the government of this country wants us to unite as a people, you're wrong. You're wrong. Because see, here's what happens. If Terrence and I can get along, which we do, by the way, and I love my brother dearly,
right.
and if we all got along the same way,